Well, welcome to Curbrash. Appreciate you being back with us, me and Nick, and we've got more complaining for you. I know that you just adore that, so that's what we like to do. But two topics on the docket today, two things, and we'll see where we go with it. The first and foremost, or rather, the one we'll get to later is things in movies and TV that they get wrong about cars. I'm sure we'll have lots to discuss on that. We've talked about this in the past a lot. But first, we want to start off with something that Nick pointed out, and I'm realizing he's absolutely correct about. Nick, do you wanna tell him what it is?
Yes. So, um, I've been noticing it for a while, but it really only clicked for me about a week ago. But boomers and people from Brampton, people, the way they mod their cars overlaps a lot. Like they like very similar things.
So, to
Lots
clarify,
of yeah. You can
did,
clarify.
when we say people from Brampton, we mean basically ricers, but like foreign ricers, and it's a very specific flavor. It's cheap rice. Like most rice is cheap, but it's a very specific flavor.
It's the people that buy the V6 Challengers and Mustangs and Camaros specifically from Brampton.
Yeah.
If you're from Southern Ontario, you'll know exactly the type of people we're talking about.
Yeah, you'll know exactly what we're getting at, and it's not that we have a problem with these people. Well, I do. I had a situation the other day where a V6 Charger with tires that stuck out well past the body of the car. Don't know why they do that.
Deep
Um,
stack on a stock body.
yeah, demon spec on a stock body. And also, even more fun on that one was I'm fairly certain it had a straight pipe, and it was I don't know if he was trying to. It just sounded like he was like pushing it for all it had, and it was barely moving. I didn't even put my foot down. I just walked around the guy because I'm just like, what's fucking happening here? But yeah, those kinds of people. And boomers, right? Do you want? I'll give it back to you there, Nick. Sorry to take over.
Yeah, so I mean, like boomers, I wouldn't say they always necessarily spring for the 4 cylinder or the V6 trim, but it's specifically how their cars are modified. So there's always lots of stuff that goes on with two-way tape,
Yeah.
lots of stuff that comes in plastic bags from reputable companies that are sold at, you know, Canadian Tire, or for people in the States would be like your equivalent to AutoZone or Pep Boys.
Yeah.
Um,
AutoZone. Yeah.
lots of stuff like that. Lots of fake vents, fake hood scoops,
Mm-hmm.
um, chrome letters.
Vanity plates.
Ooh, vanity plates are a big one, but like really over the top plate frames.
Yeah.
Just it's like just shit you can spend money on. It does nothing. It's worthless. It's just
Yeah.
shit that you waste money on that makes you think you're being different from the next guy. But it has a lot of the times it's not even like put on symmetrically. It's off from side to side because they're just stuck on without being measured. A lot of times it'll be, the chrome or the black lettering that they sell individually at these places so that they can give their car a name to make it try and sound more menacing than it
My
really is.
my favorite is like engine dress up kits that you buy in like in the cheapest plastic bag you've ever felt in your life. Like I very clearly recall getting sent a picture from some like street auto show thing. One of those things where they take over a whole street and then a bunch of old people sit in lawn chairs and like park their cars up and down a street. And there was,
Yeah,
I think I even sent you that picture. It was like a
yeah,
V6 Camaro with like plastic
yeah. It's
tubing over
just
the
like
vacuum lines.
colored fucking. It doesn't even protect the wires. It's just like colored wire wrap.
Yeah. No, but they put it on
It's-
everything.
Oh, I know.
Not,
Just everything. Wires, vacuum lines,
yeah.
fucking any rubber line in the engine bay that is
Yep.
black as that's shit put on it. But
Now
I
it's,
know, and it's not to say we have anything against those types of car shows where they take over a street for a day
Yeah.
They're fine. A lot of times there's some nice things that show up to them, but it's specifically these types of mods. I don't even know if you want to call them mods, but these types of things done to these cars. You'll see them at those shows. You'll see them at your local McDonald's parking lot meets.
Yeah, it'll always be like it's almost always seemingly accompanied by a lawn chair. I feel like it's like some, and it's always a pop tote. I like to think we're relatively humble. I know that based on all the things we've been we've been saying for the last I don't know how long, that can be hard to believe. But like there's nothing wrong with a nice stock car. I'm Mr. Stock Car. Like if you know a stock Supra, great car.
Around with the stock car.
No problem with it. We're not Mr. I remember being at a meet one time before I ever met any of these lovely fellas, and I remember like a guy shouting, "You don't bring a stock car to this meet," and I think he was a fella from Brampton who was in a like a Ram 1500 or something, which I love seeing at car meets. You have no right to be there. Looked stock to me, but. We're not those people at all. And there's nothing wrong. I genuinely think, I have thought for a long time, I'm like, you know what? I would have owned like a 2013, like when they got the better V6 Mustang. Like those are decent engines. I think that you're better off owning that than an older V8. Let's be honest. Like it's just a joke. So it comes in all forms, right? Personally for me. But there's something about the boomer flex. There's something about the having a Bristol board of your car, sorry, presentation board for the Americans, of all the things that you've done to your car, and half of them are like sticker kit. You know what I mean?
See, so that's where like it kind of splits a little bit, because like the boomer people will do it and then they'll park themselves in a lawn chair with their Bristol board and want you to know every little, this is the plastic kit I got from the store to cover my vacuum lines.
Yeah.
The Brampton people, they do that and they think it makes a tangible difference. Because they then start driving around pretending that the car that they have has the engine they wished they could afford.
Yeah. You see, this is the thing though. I think it actually goes deeper than that, because I think that boomers have this like belief that their taste is worth something, right? So that bugs me more. That bugs me a little more, because I think that we're very used to the idea of like a kid in a V6 Charger, you know, wishing he had a Hellcat, because you know we've all been there, wishing we had the top trim. That's fine, but like there's something very specifically annoying about a boomer who's like, yes, I have great taste and I've actually improved the value of the vehicle, which is what they tend to do. Like, do you remember a while, like years ago, you'll definitely remember, Nick, there was a guy who had the release series 1.0 Scion FRS, the yellow one, the really nice yellow, and he'd modified it, and he'd put a Ferrari badge on the back, and he'd listed it on Auto Trader as a Ferrari. Yeah, so that guy, I'm fairly certain, was a bit older and had that boomer taste to me. I mean, he might have been young, but
that's the boomer side. The boomer side is like they'll try and make it something it's not, or they think that their cheap plastic is adding something that it's like tasteful.
No, yeah,
it's like the champagne of car mods.
I think that's the thing that annoys me the most, is that they have this belief deep down in their heart that it is tasteful, and that's where I get frustrated. As someone who's as two people generally priced out of the housing market because of them, there's just a special place in my heart. Actually, if you remember, the first thing that was ever posted to Curbrash on the website was just a rant about C5 Corvette owners. Apparently, those prices have come down recently, but for years, these people had this belief that they own something special. We've talked about Corvette owners in length. I'm not going to dwell on it, but you know, there is a special place for hating boomers in my heart when it comes to most things, but cars especially.
Yeah, and like I love the C5 Corvette as a vehicle. I think performance per dollar, it's a great car, but they're not special. They made I want to say hundreds, not hundreds of thousands, but I feel like they made over 100,000 of them. Like they're not rare, and just because you got the 50th anniversary pace car edition with purple wheels and yellow paint and
Yeah, and the anniversary. Oh, it's okay. I can tell you how many.
An extra special soft top cover that goes over top of it when the roof is down doesn't make it a special car.
Allegedly, 250,000 C5 Corvettes were produced.
Okay, so literally hundreds of thousands of
Yeah,
them.
literally more than we thought when we were giving them shit just now.
Yeah. Now,
So-
like, obviously, if they've made 250,000 of them, they got to be they're probably pretty fucking good, but they're not special.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that based on production numbers alone, I think like there are less Golf Rs in the world, but you don't see me blowing my cock down on fucking like on the street corner about it. Like it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, like
It's a
just
sub $50,000 car.
Like buying it and putting no miles on the C5 Vet so you can pretend you have something rare. Stupid.
It's the dumbest
Ridiculous.
thing. It doesn't make sense. Like it's great for someone who comes along later, maybe after you die and buy it from your estate, but like why?
Yeah.
What are you doing for
And like
yourself?
I don't know what it is with C5 specifically, but the C5s are like the most, every time I see one, it's like the most stereotypical, like, yes, this is what a Corvette owner looks like person
Yeah, what?
driving it. I don't get that as much with older ones like C4s and C3s or later ones like C6s and newer.
No, it's
Like it still exists in those generations, but I feel like it's really concentrated, and I really see it the most with the C5.
so I have a couple thoughts about that. First, I want to say I agree with you mostly. I think like early production, like non-Z06 C6s, you may see a little bit more than the rest of like not like C5s to be clear, but you'll see it a little bit. I think I don't know what it is. It's like boomers have this thing. Excuse me. Oh my. They have this thing where they play like mental gymnastics, and it's again like the racers. It's a very similar mental gymnastics that they play because to them they're like, well, it's the same. It's the same base, right? I mean, and so they look at, for example, C5, C6 are like, why would I spend an extra $10,000, $20,000 or whatever the price difference is when I could have this one and they look almost the same, right? It's basically the same car. And in their head, they're like, this is the same as a C6. And now they're trumping up its value. And now they're not putting miles on it. So they like believe in something. And then they do that shit where they're like, this is one of 3 that was built in August with a fucking automatic transmission.
The best is sometimes they go the full 180 and they're like, no, this is better than the C6.
No, they don't.
This generation's better. This is the best generation of Corvette.
You think they really believe it?
My Corvette is best Corvette.
My Corvette is best Corvette 100%, but there's no way that like okay, here's my thing. I know that they will do that to someone who doesn't know any better, obviously. Do you think they do that shit when they're all at the Corvette meet when this is my C5 and that's his C6 and their C7's down there?
I 100% believe that within the Corvette community, when they have their Corvette Day meets, I'm not gonna. Maybe it doesn't happen at everyone, but I'm willing to put money on that this has happened more than a handful of times. In that, like the C5 owners will gather together and talk amongst themselves, and the C6 owners will gather together and talk amongst themselves, and then they just all talk shit about the other generation owners, but amongst their own little group that owns the same gen. That's what happened. That 100% that happens in Corvette world.
I would take those odds. I would absolutely take those odds. There's no way it doesn't.
Like it's 100. It's the poor version of what happens at Porsche meets.
100%.
Where like the GT owners just talk to the other GT owners and they don't want to be associated with lower 911s and
base Carreras and Caymans. Yeah, we don't.
They're above
name,
that.
But
yeah.
No, fully. Yeah. So basically, what we're saying is, if you are a boomer and you own a Corvette, you're poor. So congratulations. You could have done better, but this is what your hard work has amounted to.
the best part is you're still doing better than us, so congratulations.
No, congrats. Yeah, great work. But it's very much we're punching up. The second that we're punching down, it's not funny anymore. So, I don't know. Fair play. You probably own a house too, so. But if you're gonna delude yourself into believing you basically have a Ferrari, as most of you seem to do, somebody's got to say something. You know.
Oh, C5 owners love the spec sheets.
They love the window sticker that stays in the window, and I've added my own little. You can see this small area. I've added the what did we call it? The champagne mods. You know, just the finest taste. You fucking asshole! You jerk yourself off at a fucking Ramada or whatever the fuck you go to on your fucking weekends. I'm so sick of these fucking guys. It's so hard. Do you remember? I know you remember. We were at Cars and Coffee, and the guy with the fucking slingshot came through, and
the Polaris Slingshot,
begging for somebody to compliment it. Just
cruise through real slow past everyone there.
Yeah, and when nobody said anything,
he just left.
No, he remember he
literally just did like a lap of the parking lot and left.
How do you not know? He stopped right in front of us. He went, "Oh, anybody want to trade?" Remember that? How do you not remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
I'm like, no, like what the fuck? Like, I can't. And
like Corvette owners are like that too.
That's exactly it. It's the behavior.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like, because it's the thing. I don't think, like, you know when you can tell, like, he didn't just roll up and go, anybody want to trade? Like, haha. It was like, look at me.
Yeah, he rolled up and he did it in that voice, like, hey, anybody want to trade?
Anybody want my better item? It's like
shitty salesman voice.
Yeah. Oh my God. Unbelievable. I've had
anybody want my motorcycle for people with no balls?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel about those like the 3-wheeled the
trikes.
Yeah, the trikes. I look, I fear if it makes you happy, that's great, but it very much is a motorcycle for people without balls.
Yeah, like for me at that point, it's just like just give it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like you're not cut out for the bike. It's fine to admit. It's fine to give it up.
I'm not cut out for it either. Like, I'm happy to admit I'm not a bike person. I'm never going to be a bike person, right? Like, some things are just, I like having metal walls around me when I drive, like
the only 3-wheeled vehicle that gets a pass, in my mind anyways, T-Rex.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I think they even have conversion kits to make it a fucking 4-wheeler. So
yeah, I think so. They have those for the Slingshot, actually.
They do, but I still wouldn't want to drive that. So
neither would I.
No, you just look like such an ass. Just imagine wearing a helmet in what is effectively a bootleg car.
It just doesn't have like the same. It's weird. Like, I get the idea of the Slingshot, but it's like I like the Aerial Atom and the BAC mono and like the KTM crossbow. I love those. I think they're sweet.
No,
I'll definitely
awesome.
own one. Would not catch me dead in a Polaris Slingshot.
No, not in a million years.
Or not.
No, have you seen when they fucking put a roof on them? It's the most disgusting.
Have you seen when they put like the tall fucking flags on the back of them and shit?
No, but there's one around me that has like, I shit you not, they're like 7-foot tall poles or flags that go straight up from the back of the T-Rex, dude,
and they're lit up like an LED the whole 7 feet. They just act as brake lights. I'm
not into that. I just, it doesn't do it for me. I don't know what's up with that. It's this.
I remember last summer, I was on my way home. I stopped at the gas station to get gas, and the gas station that I go to is like right beside just a regular 4-way intersection. But the traffic going the way I was looking while I was pumping was stopped at the light, and there was a Slingshot at the light, and like 2 pumps over from me was a Huracan Evo. And he finished pumping his gas, and he left the station and pulled up to the light next to the Slingshot. And I genuinely cannot think of anything more embarrassing than being in a Polaris Slingshot when a Huracan pulls up next to you.
No, I can't. I can't think of anything else.
I'd almost just want to get out of the Slingshot and just leave it there and walk home.
I abandoned my slingshot in the middle. It's
But
literally.
then
Oh, okay.
when the light went green, he tried to race the Huracan.
Oh, come on.
He got fucking cooked.
I'm amazed the Huracan even.
It was like, oh, I'm sure if I was in the Huracan, I would have loved it. Like, this fucking tricycle man is trying to race me. Are you shitting me?
I
Circus
can't
animal?
Circus. You fucking, yeah, you're like a dancing hippo, you piece of shit. Like a fucking, what a piece of shit vehicle. Honestly, it's just, I would rather spend the rest of my days with C5 owners than own a fucking slingshot.
Literally just go get a convertible.
Go get anything and
Go get a Miata.
Yeah, everybody will respect you more. Everybody, you'll have way more fun. You won't have to wear a fucking helmet.
The interior's the same size.
Okay,
It's probably bigger.
let's be honest.
Slightly.
I was gonna say you don't have to wear a helmet, but anybody who buys a slingshot probably wears a helmet even when they're walking down the street. So
Every time I've seen a Slingshot, they're wearing a helmet or they're wearing like those World War II fucking fighter.
what do you think?
Goggles.
Yeah, you're the real Red Baron, dude. Like, what is that? You're such a loser.
Yeah. Amelia Earhart on her Polaris Slingshot.
Nothing can be better than a Polaris fucking slingshot. Whoever, the thing is, like, you know how people say like Nissan, they're just there to be like rental fleets. That's all they're for, right? Like, you wouldn't buy a new Nissan. You would rent one when you didn't have another choice, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fair, like, because we've seen there's so many like whatever royalty exotics, the one in Las Vegas, that's their bread and butter, is renting fucking drunk white women like slingshots. Like, and they rent it for like pennies.
When I was in Arizona, Slingshot rentals fucking everywhere.
Why?
Slingshot rentals, those like when I got closer to Sedona and there was more off-roady stuff, a lot of those like fucking four-wheeler rentals that you drive, like Slingshots, Jeeps, and those four-wheelers, holy fuck, everywhere. And it was January.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. It's warm, which is great, but it's just strange, right? Because like you can get like an NC Miata, which is a good car, for like 15 grand. I've seen them for like 12. A Slingshot is like 40 fucking grand to look like a retard.
The Slingshot starts at 40.
Oh, kill me.
Top of the line is 54.
Oh, could you imagine? You have $54,000.
$54,000 for a Slingshot.
54,000 fucking dollars. You could have an FD, a left-hand drive FD RX-7. You could have your MR2.
Like, you could have like even if you wanted the drop top, like you could have like a Z4M convertible.
You could have an S2000 easy.
An S2000 or a Boxster.
You can definitely get into a nice Boxster. Like,
yeah.
Who's it for?
You can walk right into a brand new ND Miata.
You could get an RF and then have it all year round.
Yeah.
Or you could buy a Slingshot for some reason.
Yeah. Fuck! You know what it is? It finally clicked for me. They look like Bionicles, but in the worst kind of way.
They look like they look fucking cobbled together. Because in that case, I do agree.
Have a Slingshot with like the hardtop on it, and tell me it doesn't look like a Bionicle.
Okay, I'm gonna look right now. Oh, it does look like a Bionicle. Ugh. Yeah. Oh my god, they put doors on it too. Why?
Like, what the fuck's the point?
Slingmods.com will sell you doors for it. $5 fucking grand.
Thank God I can get $5,000 doors for my $54,000 Slingshot, so I can have a $60,000 Slingshot.
I know you've seen this, but can you just look at that picture and explain it to me? Like, as if I'm, like, look at it. What is that? What
It looks
actually
like a
is that?
fucking cartoon villain's car.
It
It just looks.
it looks like the
fucking
villain's
broken.
car from fucking, not Speed Racer. What am I thinking of?
It looks like the fucking Batmobile got rear-ended.
What is this? No, this Dick Dastardly. It looks like this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to link this after, but it looks like this.
It just looks fucking broken.
What is this, man?
If you have a slingshot, you are not straight.
Do you mean them physically?
There's nothing wrong with not being straight, but if you
No.
have a slingshot, you are not straight.
Oh, it's a canonically gay car, is what you're saying.
It is.
Okay, I see. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's like you know why? Because it's one of those things like you don't get it. Right? Like it's just one of those like alt lifestyle as they used to call it back in the day. Just cars, it's so much. This is the thing. If it was a good value, because obviously it's quite light, so I could see the fun of going reasonably quick, that would kind of be one thing. But it's not even cheap. Yeah, you could get a fucking Caterham. Like you could get anything else. But you got a slingshot. You went into the dealer.
Or,
yeah.
Fuck, you can get an Exocet.
An eggs.
They're those like open wheel kit cars based on Miatas.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, you could have that. Are they road legal?
Those are road legal.
Wow.
You can plate them here.
Could you do that for less than $53,000?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, well, there you go. There's just no the thing is you walked into a Polaris dealer and you willingly signed away $50,000. 40 if you're lucky. What's wrong with you? Like, I remember like it has to be like a bad decision thing, because I remember once I was in an elevator and I just come in from parking, my FRS at the time, and the guy that was in the elevator with me started talking about it, and he was saying how when he got divorced, he bought himself a gift for his divorce, and it was like some really cool like a vintage Mustang type thing. Maybe it was like a resto mod, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. I'm sorry about your divorce. He goes, I'm not. Right? He's like, now this is the kind of car you buy when you don't know any better and you've just been divorced. And I say car very loosely. It's a toy or whatever.
This is a car you buy when you're searching for yourself.
Yeah, you can find yourself.
You're probably not gonna like what you find.
No, I was gonna say, or you won't find it in a Polaris Slingshot. Let me tell you that. I know we started on Corvettes, but honestly, fuck the Polaris Slingshot way more. If you own a C5 Corvette,
you can get an Exocet kit.
Yeah.
For $8,300 US.
Okay.
You need a Miata donor to get the parts off of. Selecting your donor. Let's see here.
You
can use any Miata you want.
Wow.
From the NA or NB generation.
There you go.
So you can use the 1.6, the 1.8, or the Mazda Speed. But any Miata you want between 1990 and 2005, of which there are fucking plenty.
Can I just say?
So,
just
go ahead.
On this, I just want to say before we I didn't notice this before, and I'm just gonna post it here, and I have to remember to link this. That slingshot, that like kitted slingshot. It has some sort of sunroof situation that looks like a submarine hatch, and it opens like the wrong way. Like it opens
it's like a rally roof scoop.
Yeah, it's like who the fuck is this
there are
for?
some Subaru STIs that came with those from the factory.
Really?
In Japan.
It opened that way. It opened
see if I can find it.
In this strange manner, where like
it's literally just like a flap.
For those who are maybe listening on Spotify, it's a little. Oh wow! But does that open to the rear?
No, that opens front facing. It's meant for airflow into the cabin.
Okay, right. because obviously this is a rally car, much like a Subaru. That's still strange on a road car, but for those who are listening on Spotify who maybe don't have access to see, basically what it is imagine a sunroof where it tilts open, but imagine if it tilted the other way. So basically air is being rammed down onto your head. I understand on a rally car, maybe if you're like wearing a helmet and maybe there's no air conditioning.
They only put them on like very specific
Yeah.
STI and homologation trims in Japan and potentially Europe too. But
I figured not for a production, like, well, not for mass production.
Yeah, not on like the regular STI, but
yeah,
if you got one of like the special editions that they did, of which in Japan there were plenty.
Yep, that does not make any fucking sense to me, honestly. Ugh. Okay, I'm fully disgusted. I'm sorry. You were going to say,
Oh, I was gonna say. So if the Exocet kit is like 8,300 US, and I don't know, let's say you buy a minty NB Miata for, I don't know, 12 grand. What are you at? 83 US
at that point.
Yeah,
you're gonna tear 83
it apart US plus 12. Yeah. 83 US to Canadian is like what, 13 grand plus maybe 12.
Let's just call it 24 grand. Let's just call it 24 grand.
Yeah. Now let's say for 24 grand you now have everything and you don't want to do it yourself. You want to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Probably like another 10.
Sure.
Or so. So for $15,000 less than a Polaris Slingshot, you can have something that is lighter, faster, drives better, and is more fun.
And looks better.
And you don't look like a toolbox.
And you don't have to wear a helmet. Again, unless you already own a Polaris Slingshot. We know you wear a helmet when you walk around the neighborhood. But yeah, it just... okay, I think that we mostly agree that there are use cases for almost every car. Lots of them. Like, there's a very specific use case where they probably fit into your life. Yeah, this is one of those ones where I can't find the use case. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just no reason to own a Polaris Slingshot.
Do not see it.
If you really want the Polaris Slingshot, there's nothing to it that like you could not have from a nice Miata. I can't think of a thing. And
yeah, I honestly can't see how it would be more fun than a nice ND, or if you want something more raw, an NA or an NB.
Even an NC, I think that you would be better served with an NC Miata than this. I don't get it. And if you wanted to experience it, I understand. I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw them, I was curious. Now we know they're pieces of shit. But like, go rent one. Don't.
I've always looked at them like, what the fuck is that?
I agree.
Like the first time I saw, I didn't, even the first time I saw one, like it wasn't in like a, ooh, that looks kind of cool way. It was in a, like, who the fuck thought that was a good idea kind of way.
I'm on the other end. I think when now I'm very much like, who the fuck is stupid enough? When I saw it in real life for the first time, I'm not going to lie. I think there was that, oh, like, here's a real one, right? Where I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, like, pretty quickly, just looking at the back of that stupid carbon tub or whatever the fuck it is, plastic tub maybe, I don't even know if it's carbon. I was just like, oh, yeah, no. Like, it just looks like what you would get into at an amusement park for, like, a kiddie ride. Do you know what I mean? Where they've got, like, the seats where they slope in. It just doesn't look like a thing that's meant to move at any rate of speed. And apparently they're super unreliable. They break, like, all the time. So...
doesn't surprise me.
And I only say maybe I'm totally wrong, but every time I find, like, you know, like the royalty exotics and stuff, like when they're like, yeah, these are broken all the time, and so I'm like, yeah, that tracks. Look at it. It's a weird fucked up motorcycle that they put seats in. Anyway, fuck. All right, that was a quick derail. I mean, it is definitely a boomer car, so kind of in the same vein, but oh, and funny enough, the only other people that I see driving these things usually have, like, vinyled it to death. So, Ricer. So, same taste.
I feel like you can get some of those sticker packs just from Polaris.
It wouldn't shock me.
I'm sure the dealerships at, I don't even know how you fucking buy one of these. I don't even want to know. But I'm sure some of them are like, oh, well, you want the fucking the race car sticker package. I don't fucking know. And the typical Polaris buyer is probably like, yeah, that sounds really cool,
Yeah,
man.
that's sweet, man. Yeah, I really like that, man. Like yeah, you just go to a Polaris dealer, like a power. That's the thing. You shouldn't be purchasing like something from a power sports dealer. Oh, is there one actual Polaris dealer? Maybe. Anyway, yeah, I don't think that anything you purchase from a power sports dealer should really be on the road, sans actual motorcycles. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Color me crazy. Um. All right. I mean, I think that was a good. So I think that was a good roasting of Polaris owners. I'm pretty happy with that.
Solid Polaris roasting.
Yeah. If you
Complaint.
own a Polaris and you really enjoy it, contact us and we'd actually love to hear a defense of it. I'm curious. I don't think it's going to be a good defense, but I am curious what you could come up with as to why it's actually really good. So, yeah, let us know. But we do have a subject to move on to. So, Nick, I'll let you introduce it because these were all your idea.
Okay. So I guess the next one is, and this is probably something that really only bothers people that like cars, and maybe a little more interested than a lot of people are in them. But it's when you're watching a movie or a TV show that sometimes maybe it is about cars, but a lot of times it isn't, and the car is just part of a scene or something. But it's when they get something very blatantly wrong.
Yeah.
Where whether it be the car's sound or like footage of it driving by that doesn't line up with the interior, or like manually shifting gears in a car that is not a manual,
Right.
stuff like that, or like they're working on it and using a tool that does not make any fucking sense for the job at hand.
100%. I have quite a few of these, and all of them are Fast and Furious related. But that's like, it's more an action movie than a car movie. But like, I'm happy to talk about it. Obviously, do you have any before we get into that? That is a whole rabbit hole. Do you have any that aren't Fast and Furious related?
Okay, some that aren't Fast and Furious related. In I think a lot of people like the movies, or like the movie Bad Boys 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Ferrari chase
Yes.
in Bad Boys 2 uses the sound of a Ferrari 355, not a V12 550 Maranello.
See, that's going to be something that only bothers.
That bothered me.
Yeah.
The movie Drive with Ryan Gosling,
Great movie. Yeah.
the Mustang chase, that was not a V8 Mustang GT. It was
Right.
clearly a V6
Yes.
with some GT wheels. And oh my god, what's the last one? It just left my mind.
There's another one from Drive. Because in the
What's
beginning,
yours, Drive?
it's not mine.
Oh, the
I'm gonna be
Impala?
the Impala. Yeah. I'm lifting that totally
Getaway
from
scene?
regular cars. Like where he's like, I dropped 300 horse into this. It has 300 horse.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't.
because
It doesn't.
in the states you could get them with. Actually, I forget if it was an Impala or a Caprice,
Right.
but either way, in the states, I'm pretty sure both of them had V8 options that were about what
Yeah.
he was saying they were. Um. Oh, okay. And this is a movie where if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend watching it because I think it's a pretty good fucking laugh. Um, there's a movie called Born to Race, which is a very low
Born
budget,
to
shitty Fast and
Race.
Furious knockoff. And there's two scenes in the movie actually, um, that I can think of,
Right.
where the first one is they're in a garage and they're doing some work on a car, and
Mm.
there's like the young kid working on the older car, and his dad is the old head who owns the garage, and he's trying to figure something out, like how to set timing or something on this old carbureted V8, and he can't figure it out. He gets all frustrated, and of course his old head master mechanic dad just like walks over, reaches into the engine bay, and just like turns something, but it's not the distributor. It's like he's reaching for like the crank pulley, which isn't going to turn by hand.
Sure.
And then suddenly the car starts. And the kid's like, "How'd you do that?" He's like, "I haven't needed the timing tool in years." Like, oh, fuck off.
No, fuck off. I hate that. I genuinely, like, this is the thing. If you don't understand this, just it's a small, if you listen to this because you think maybe we're a little bit funny, right? And you don't actually really like cars that much. The equivalent of this is like, have you ever watched, and I know you have, watched a movie where somebody pulls out their phone, but it's clearly not Android or iOS. It's some weird, like, fictional phone software. It's that feeling where you go, fuck off,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's just, like, don't treat
Or
me
like
like I'm an idiot.
that same movie, like the antagonist car was like a previous gen Mustang GT, and it got talked up like it was just the baddest thing on the road. And meanwhile, the whole thing is modified with the show or the movie's knockoff equivalent of Pep Boys parts.
Right.
And then like they take it to an actual part of the movie's filmed at like an actual drag strip towards the end. It's like the climax part. And they have this Pep Boys Mustang GT lined up against like actual like slicks and wheelie bar drag cars, and they're like, no, the GT's faster. It's running nines
No.
on like 20-inch street tires.
Eat shit. Eat fucking shit. It's like,
I think you can find this movie on YouTube.
I'm
I
sure
highly
you
recommend
can.
watching it if you haven't.
there's another movie that the name currently escapes me, and maybe it's that one. It's a really old movie, like it's a Fast and Furious ripoff. It looks like a college film. Like it might actually be a college film. If I remember it, I'll bring it up in another podcast or something.
Yes, it is still on YouTube. Here you go. You can watch it.
It would be really
Whenever
funny
you have
if
time.
this is the one that I was talking about. Let me just have a quick look.
Oh wait, sorry, no, that's not
This
the
is Born to Race.
search query. This is the video. Or the
Okay.
movie.
Yes, okay. I've seen this one. I don't know what the other movie is called. It's like a fucking college movie or something. But this fucking kid basically like, oh my god. I think he like drives like a fucking Jetta or something. It's like some piece of shit. And like some dude, he like beats some dude in a Viper or like a Mustang GT or something. It's just like the most not gonna happen shit that ever didn't happen. I wish I could find it. I'm not gonna dwell on it because it's just gonna be me recalling incorrect facts. But I wanna move into the Fast and Furious stuff because this stuff is like it's been memed to death, obviously, right? We all know that.
Oh, of course.
Let's start with a very brief thing. If you've definitely seen something of the Fast and the Furious. If you're listening to this, I would be amazed if you haven't watched at least one of these movies. Manual transmissions with 16 gears, you know, like fucking whatever. Lots of things that make no sense. I don't want to delve on that stuff. That's been memed to death. What I would like to talk about are mostly things that annoy me, but like I think two things that make no sense. Firstly, we've talked about this before, so we'll start here. In the second movie, after Vin Diesel stepped away and it was just fucking Paul Walker doing his best, and Ludacris, I guess, to hold up this series, this franchise.
What's Tyrese?
Oh, and Tyrese. Sorry, we hungry. I know. I love Tyrese. Whatever. I'm just saying, like, after they're like cobbling together a cast, right? They already kind of jumped the fucking shark by like writing in Motorex R34s. If you don't know about Motorex, they're a skeezy company that basically faked data. They were like national.
They no longer are. They were
Yeah.
a easy company.
They're not
There's a
now.
whole there's very interesting article on what happened with Motorex that you can find if you
Yes.
just Google them. It's honestly a really good read because they started off with a pretty good idea and quite legitimate, and it went downhill very fast.
No, they
because of
did.
bad ownership. Anyways,
Anyway,
sorry.
the point is that at the end of the day, there is a lot of history there. But at the time, people were very excited that you could have an R34 Skyline in the States. So much so that I forget who he's like this shitty writer that like got involved with the Fast and Furious stuff. But he was writing articles and he had some fucking riced out Supra I'm trying to remember this guy's name. He's in a
Are you
lot
thinking
of
of
video.
Craig Lieberman?
It might be. No. Is it? Fuck. Hold on.
He was the technical advisor on the first 2 or 3 movies, I think.
Yeah, I think it might be Craig Lieberman.
But he was so credit where credit's due to Craig Lieberman. He was trying to steer them into decisions that made sense for the movie, but a lot of like the graphics and designs and rice from the movie is stuff that the studio wanted.
I get that, but I know for a fact.
But he was very into the whole sex spec.
Exactly.
Screens and audio.
Yes, it is. It is Craig Lieberman because I'm looking at his like sex spec sort of. It's not as bad as the movie, but like just graphic heavy Supra, like a yellow Supra.
Very period correct.
It is period correct. I just have a distaste for it because I think once they see that, they're turning it up to 10, but like on his car it's like a 5. And it dates it really badly. Anyway, I think
but
yes.
In the era,
yes,
you would have seen that and been like, nice.
Yeah, 100%.
We look back on it and it's like, holy fuck. But in the time,
but it's
it would have
the
been
only
nice.
It is the only era that I think like we look back on pretty much collectively as being embarrassing. Like there's trends that have come and gone. We don't like them, but there are still cars that float around out there like that are of that period. You know,
Yes.
like the VIP sort of spec cars, like just slammed on like dish wheels. I can still look at that and go, I like that. I've never once in my life looked at like a sticker pack, like whatever Honda Civic and been like, all right, like never. I know of its time.
Like I've never felt that way about the Civic, but like I'll preface this before we get really into the Fast and Furious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Unironically, Too Fast, Too Furious is my favorite movie from that franchise. I have watched it far more than any of the other movies in that franchise. So much so that I can almost quote it word for word at this point.
I tend to agree with you. I don't know if it is my favorite. It's definitely in my top 3 Fast and Furious movies.
I feel like it's the most fun to watch.
It definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, and I do like that.
The first movie and the third movie, and all of them after that actually take themselves fairly seriously. But I feel like with the second one, they were just sort of like, let's just have some fucking fun with this.
Sure, and again, I tend to agree with everything you're saying, but my issue is that I think that I know it all runs through studio, and I'm sorry if I'm besmirching Craig Lieberman, but I okay, I'll give that a little bit of respect. He was the one who steered the studio away from having the full cast of the cars being Dodge Neons, so fair fucking play.
Yeah, like they were gonna go from an R34 to an SRT4.
Yeah. So
credit where credit's due.
Credit where credit's due. At the same time, I do believe that he could have done like he brought in that like sticker pack culture a lot more into the films. And I have a theory. I know you were there, but I have not you weren't actually on the studio. I just mean like I know that you were in that era, but I also was a person who was alive at that time. And I can recall before Fast and Furious came out, way, way less sticker shit out in the world. And after that movie, that exploding. So I am of the mind that Craig Lieberman is responsible for that because he wanted it in there and the studio turned it up to 10. You could dissuade them from Dodge Neons. You couldn't stop them from putting stickers on a car. So...
yeah, I will admit or agree he is partially to blame, but I feel like the studio really wanting to take that and turn it up to 12 is really what put the nail in the coffin for the scene of that time.
I'm not in total disagreement on that.
But yes, I agree with you.
I think he is somewhat responsible. I think what's also interesting, of that era, we talked about this, But in the second movie, right, hero car in the beginning, R34, right? While it was rice to shit, and we've seen many people pay homage to that, we've met a guy who has that. It was a GTT, but whatever. You know, Too Fast, Too Furious spec R34. I can respect it. It's a movie recreation. There is a scene that irks me to no fucking end, and it's not. And it's not. I said forget about it, cuh. That's my favorite scene. It irks me to no end is after the fucking after the R34 what is out of the picture, right? After the Skyline is gone, a car that literally is impossible. Well, at the time is basically impossible unless you shell out a lot of money to Motorex to get in the United States, right? It's a hero car. Everybody knows that it's Brian when he rocks up in it. When they get the fucking Evo, right? Which, by the way, think about this. It was a car that the agency provided, which means if I'm to go based on the lore that's been given in later movies, usually the cars are commandeered from street racers to begin with and impounded, right? And then they keep it or something. I don't know how the law would actually work, but whatever. That means these cars probably already existed out in the street. And then they go to the shop and he's like, check the Evo. And the fucking mechanic goes, where'd you get an Evo? What the fuck do you mean, where'd you get an Evo? He's been rolling around in a Japanese-only vehicle for the better part of like 2 fucking years, winning street races, and you're shocked that he could have an Evo? It's not shocking. He says it like he can't fucking believe it. It's not shocking. Now, Nick, you had a defense to this because we've talked about this before.
Yeah, like my whole defense to it was the Evo technically wasn't available in the States at that time. Like, yes, the GTR was not available, but it and I don't know what the lore of the universe is around it, but the universe clearly said there was an R34 at a used car lot in the middle of the desert in Arizona for a couple $1,000. And Evos, as literally one of the bonus features on the Too Fast, Too Furious DVD, were not in the US purchasable when that movie came out. They were very soon after, but not when the movie came out. They hadn't been released yet. So technically, following that logic, you could see why it's surprising to see him pull up in an Evo. But knowing what we know about cars and how that whole hierarchy works, it is still technically a downgrade.
It's just, if he could get, because Evos existed, my thing is, Evos existed in Japan, right? He didn't specify, like, is it specifically the 7 that wasn't out at that time?
Well, that was the first Evo that ever came to North America.
But what I'm saying is, like, the Evo as a concept existed, like there, like Evo, we know, like the 6 and the 5, whatever, they all existed in right-hand drive market. So what I'm saying is that like the line that he didn't see the fucking car, he just said the fucking Evo, so he doesn't even know what fucking Evo it is. He's just like, where'd you get an Evo? It's like, hey, listen, man, it's not that fucking strange. Anyway, I don't know. It's not that serious. It's definitely not as bad as reaching in and grabbing, what was it, and then fucking getting the timing right by grabbing
the crank hub.
The crank hub.
Crank pulley or whatever.
Yeah, the crank pulley. Obviously, it's not that egregious. It's just always bugged me. Every time I watch that fucking movie, I literally say it aloud. Where'd you get an Evo? Like, fuck you, man.
I mean, in the same vein, like in that same scene, he does look under the hood and he's like, "Oh, it's wired so hot they're gonna know when you're not wearing your seatbelt." Like, you can fucking tell just by looking under the hood.
Yes, it doesn't make sense. It took him like, we're talking about like what agency is the FBI? Like the CIA? Like I don't know. It's some 3-letter agency that set them up with this shit.
I think it was DEA.
Is it the DEA? Okay. Like, it's a 3-letter agency that sets them up with this, and this fucking guy who's like, I think canonically like fucking 21 years old, like looks and goes, "Oh yeah." Like, yeah. You've never seen.
He didn't really spend time looking either. Like, they just popped the hood, he looked at it, and he's like, "Yeah, they're gonna know when you're not wearing your seatbelt."
But like, he's never even, see, this is the thing, if he's never seen a fucking Evo, he doesn't even know what the wiring on an Evo looks like, so how do you know that there are additional traces? Stupid little. I hate that guy. I hate that character. It's so infuriating. It's just a smartass, but he has no fucking basis to be. You know what else doesn't make sense about those movies and it's not car related? That Ludacris is just running the entire fucking scene in LA across the board. Just one guy.
Miami.
Oh, is it
Too
Miami?
Fast was
Fuck,
Miami.
it is. You're right.
Yes.
Whatever. The
Part
point
one is LA, and that was Vin Diesel running the scene.
Which also
in
doesn't
LA.
make sense.
Well, Vin Diesel and whatever the other guy is, Johnny Tran.
Johnny Tran? Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make, none of it makes fucking sense. The whole, okay, whatever. Let's not dwell. Let's
do you
go
want
back
to say
to cars.
Ludacris's Louis Vuitton NSX from Too Fast, Too Furious? One of the biggest fumbles and most egregious Fast and Furious cars. Got very little screen time, but it is one of the worst.
I don't even recall what you're...
It's not the worst.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do remember this now. I don't even remember when the fuck this, like, was in the movie.
It has, like, 2 cameos. Like,
oh, just sitting outside the garage.
Probably less than 10 seconds of screen time. And it's in the music video for Act a Fool.
Oh, okay.
That is literally, like, the only screen time it ever gets.
That's pathetic. Why did, they did, there's so many, halfway decent car. I mean, the Louis Vuitton wrap, obviously, but, an NSX is a fucking NSX. That's a legit fucking thing. But, Civics get more screen time than that. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense.
That's easily one of the most egregious Fast and Furious car, I think, in my opinion.
The most egregious fumbles.
Yeah, it's awful and it's got a fucking triple decker wing.
Does it? Oh fuck, it does. Oh my god, I don't miss that. I remember I had a Hot Wheels thing with a double or triple decker wing. It was an RSX. I think we talked about this. I think you had it too.
Fucking Wingo from Cars.
Was it? Sorry, say that again.
Wingo from the movie Cars.
Remember
the scene in Cars where
yeah.
You know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. That's when they're 100%. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Another fun fact about Too Fast and Furious is the purple Eclipse. Tyrese designed that car.
Did he really?
Yes. The colors and everything, the 20-inch wheels, that was all Tyrese.
I did not realize that was him, but I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was actually, and you know what? Credit where credit's due to Tyrese, because that car does still look pretty fucking bad, but it was gonna look way worse.
What did they have it slated
before
for
he got his hands on it? I'm gonna see if I can find, because there's pictures of it floating around. But it was gonna be before he got his hands on it. It was gonna be just solid purple, and then it had yellow and purple interior with a spider graphic on the side, a spider web.
I mean, yeah, I you know what? That's definitely worse. I don't know. I respect that there is improvement, but it's still
awful.
Yeah,
it's still awful.
You know what?
But it was gonna be.
Yeah.
It was gonna be worse.
I'm trying to see if I can find it at all, but I can't. I was gonna say, you know what's not? I think I found a Jalopnik article about it. Yeah. No, I see with the
where you see the yellow interior. The outside looked worse.
So wait, was this designed by Lieberman? Because it's credited to Lieberman.
No, so Lieberman's going to get a lot of the credits for the cars in the first few movies, but the original Eclipse was because for the first 2 movies they really just got people's cars to use as extras in heroes cars. So somebody literally had that Eclipse like that, and that was their car.
I seem to recall Lieberman doing an interview where he showed concepts for cars that he'd sketched that never made it into the movies, and I'll see if I can find it, but I'm fairly convinced that he was more involved than
I have the Too Fast Too Furious DVD, and on it is extra footage of what the cars were actually what the Eclipse was actually supposed to look like. This was the hero car. that they based his Eclipse off of. But
Oh,
then
that's better.
no, because then they were going to make it purple with the spider web.
No, I'm saying that specific image, which I will have to link in the description, it is definitely better than anything they were planning. And additionally, in my mind, I wouldn't be that mad at that. But I know it's a basis. It's not like the real thing. Wasn't there also a thing where like Jesse's car, like originally was gonna be like a different color, and that's why the interior doesn't match or something to that tune?
I forget. There's
It's
so much
something
like
that,
weird lore around a lot of the cars
yeah.
in the movies
Well,
because a lot of them were just like people's cars and like the studio wanted to go one direction but the technical advisors wanted to do things slightly differently so they
yeah,
at least somewhat made sense.
yeah.
um I mean for anyone wondering, um and maybe wants to be a little bit depressed about it, for Too Fast Too Furious I think they paid like 35 or 40 grand for all the R34 GTRs that they used,
Yep.
of which they used I think like 5 or 6, and
Mm-hmm.
they used and cut up real GTRs um for that because they were just cheap enough for a movie budget back then.
Yep. It was, and they didn't have a huge budget either. Like, I think by the
No.
time the second one
Well,
came
the
around,
second film had a much bigger
yeah,
budget than the first.
definitely. Well, even like, you know what's funny? Like the best car I feel like in the first movie was the R33, the yellow R33. Like, I can't think of a better vehicle in that movie. Like, yeah, people will say the Supra, but to be honest with you, like, thinking on rarity, right? Thinking on rarity, that was a left-hand drive
Yeah,
Supra. We're talking an R33 GTR, like relegated to background, which to me that's
yeah.
also a fumble.
I think that car was called Big Bird or something. I remember
Big Bird,
it had a name. Yeah, it was like the Big Bird GTR.
no way.
I'm pretty sure it got crushed at some point
Oh,
after the movie
yeah.
because
Oh
it
no, I
wasn't
do recall
federally
hearing
legal or
that.
something.
Yeah, it didn't pass. It wasn't federalized. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I remember at at some point during the movie they have like um they do like a concept of what the Supra is going to look like. Like
yes.
Jesse brings it up on the
Oh my
computer,
God, yeah.
and it's just like the pearl orange Supra with the wheels and the wing. And I think that would have been fine like
Yeah,
that
well,
without the graphics.
obviously we agree on that. I mean, I don't like the wing, but like that's fine. Like, it's not to my taste, big deal. But like, no,
I can live with the wing. I don't care for it, but I could live with it.
no, I could live with it, but like, it honestly, without the graphic, the Supra looks fine. It's just the graphic. The wheels are of their time. That's an of its time thing where it's sort of like convex wheels.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Also, I just want to say, that fucking scene is another one of those things that annoys the shit out of me because nothing is happening on the screen. Like, all these like,
It's just like playing a video.
it's playing like a PowerPoint of like
Yeah.
of like rough Supra blueprint, and it's like,
Yeah,
it,
they're just like, this is the
you should be
Supra OS.
you should be going to MIT and shit. Nah, I can't. I have that, what do you call it, attention deficit. I'm like, you have nothing is what you have. You've got a PowerPoint, my friend.
As if people with ADHD haven't gone to MIT. Like it's
Yeah,
just some huge barrier to entry.
it makes no fucking sense
Some
at
of the
all.
smartest people that came out of MIT probably had ADHD.
No, they do. Like, it's not even a question. It doesn't, nothing about the writing in that fucking movie makes sense. My favorite little thing that lots of people have said, and I don't want to dwell on it because they have, just laying out parts like all across the floor. Like, nobody would do that when they're put. Also, the car they bring in, the like Supra they bring in, is like burnt out. Like, isn't it like literally?
Yeah, I was gonna say like. So I guess like we could sort of work through all the movies, but so yes, in Fast and Furious 1, the Supra that they bring in to build, there is no bringing that car back to
No,
life. That specific shell is worth less than scrap.
dude,
There is no like, oh, we'll rebuild this in a week and it'll be ready. Like, no,
no.
that
That
one's
should be
got to go
Coke
back to the
cans.
junkyard.
That should be
Yeah,
Coke cans, my friend. That's it. That's all it's good for. Also, like,
there is no frame machine in the world that is bringing that one back into spec.
that genuinely I don't understand how, cuz like you could have just like stripped the body panels off of something and been like, there you go. Like you didn't have to get like a burnt out shell that someone died in or something. Like,
Yeah, like you could literally have just gotten one that was fucking rough.
yeah. And yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And even then, like, again, they lay out all the parts on the floor for some reason. Not sure why. There's so many shots of them like inside the engine bay, which is my favorite. That's my favorite movie cliche.
Yeah.
Is someone inside an engine bay. It's just like, why are
Yeah,
you in there?
my this is probably something specific to me, but like it always bothered me that the shot of all the parts laid out on the floor, none of them are like Supra parts.
Are they not?
They wouldn't even be going on that engine.
Are you for real?
Yes.
I did not even know. I'm so like floored by the fact that it's like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like maybe like you could put the turbo on it, I guess, because you can put
Sure.
a turbo on anything. But like I don't know, the fucking cam. That's not a camshaft you'd put in a dual overhead cam.
I'm popping this open just so I can have a look at it because I didn't even yeah, I'm like, this car is not coming back. This is insane. Someone died in this fucking car, seriously. Like, or they ruined a Supra. Those are the options. Like, and I just want to see
Like,
the parts.
There's no saving that car, but then yeah, all the parts on the floor, a lot of them are not building a Supra parts.
Okay, let's see. We got a NOS tank. We've got a 4-to-1 manifold. Is that, or is
Yeah.
that? Yeah, that is. Okay, and then what the fuck is that? That's okay. That's that's some sort of intake. That's yeah. I guess the turbo goes on there. Yeah, this is just a miscellaneous. How do you know that cam doesn't go on there?
Because like you can, I can tell by the way the lobes are. Like the type of cam that goes into something like an LS engine or something that uses like overhead valves is very different from what the type of cam that goes into an overhead cam setup looks like.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. It's such a strange thing.
They serve the same purpose, but they look different and they're not interchangeable at all.
Dude, this I'm sorry, it goes right into that stupid like PowerPoint presentation thing. It's just nonsense. And
yeah, like they have a throttle body there that is not a fucking Supra throttle body.
Nobody would know this but you. Even I didn't pick up on that. So, in fairness, like that's definitely the least egregious sin of Fast and Furious. Can we skip forward a little bit? I like Tokyo Drift, but I hate Tokyo Drift.
Sorry. Before we get to Tokyo Drift, they used a Subaru EJ engine noise for the Eclipse in Too Fast, Too Furious, and that was stupid.
That is stupid. That doesn't. That's sound designers. Sound designers are such hacks, but that's a completely different fucking story for another time. I just want to say, like, I actually believe the cars in Tokyo Drift, like, because that's the way the Japanese are. Like they're very weird. Like
yeah. Well, like Tokyo Drift was all like it was very heavily Veilside. So a lot of the cars in that movie were like actual tuning shops cars, like the Veilside 350Zs, the Veilside RX-7, the Veilside NSX. The Evo was, I forget what, I think APR.
Right.
APR's Evo. But like they were all actual tuning shops cars, so like yeah, they were all believable.
Yeah. I I always found that like it there's a lot about that movie that really irks me. Like I don't I've it's not even really car related, so I don't want to touch on it too much. I don't like the like this kid, the main kid from Tokyo Drift. I First of all, he looks like a 37-year-old man. Let's start with that. He looks
I mean, do you mean the kid from Tokyo Drift that has committed multiple felonies and his punishment is you have to go live in Japan, not go
yeah.
to jail in
What
Japan?
the fuck is that? This 37-year-old
Yes,
man.
you know that housing development that you broke into and drove through a framed house? Your punishment is go to Japan.
Your punishment is live the ultimate fantasy of 95% of like teenagers. What the fuck? And it's like through the whole movie, he just acts like he fucking hates it. It's so fucking infuriating. Okay, this is not about cars anymore. To be honest with you, it's just this guy. It's not even that I think that he's stupid. It's because it's okay. It's a character.
Wouldn't have that problem with the V8.
Oh my fucking god. When he messages the girl and it comes up as Bama boy.
Emma boy.
Oh my god, you piece of shit, you human garbage. Like when what do they eat? They're eating the vending machine. He's like, could use some ketchup. Can you shut the fuck up? Can you shut the fuck up?
I think if you translate the kanji for like her name in the chat, it's something like Drifter Girl or some shit.
I'm gonna look right now. Hold on. I want to see what is it. Tokyo Drift chat. Okay, I want to see because where the fuck is it? I'm not gonna be able to pull up just that scene, am I? Anyway, yeah, it's like something. Well, first of all, infuriating that you think high schoolers.
The whole movie is just like I'm being banished to Japan.
Yeah.
For committing felonies, and now that I've arrived and destroyed someone's prized possession, I now have access to a Veilside RX-7 and an Evo.
I now make money working for like baby Yakuza, and I like it's annoying at first, but eventually you now hang out. You have a shop, a personal vehicle provided to you by said guy, which is, by the way, a fucking, as far as Fast and Furious cars go, pretty fucking good. Not too ricey, not too bad. Like
they're legit,
dude. How fucking, if you're getting free fucking tires because your friends are just stealing them from the local fucking Toyo outlet, and you're complaining? You're fucking complaining?
Are they stealing them from the Toyo outfit? They're fixing all the repairs from your crash-damaged Evo as you learn to drift in the wharf.
Yeah.
Where everyone's trying to fish.
Yeah. No, but you know what? Hey, what a lot, so terrible to live his life.
Life is so hard. Woe is me.
Life is so fucking hard. It's just so difficult.
It sure sucks getting handed the keys to an Evo.
It sure sucks. Yeah, everything. I just can't fucking say. And he's so unlikable. Like, and again, it's nothing against the actor, but I can't not see him.
They wrote the character pretty shittily.
You can't fix that. You can't fit. They just wrote, and again, like, it's not that he acted fine, but he looks like he has like a receding fucking hairline. Like, he looks like he's 37, man. Like, this is not a 16-year-old boy who like soups up like a piece of shit. What was it? Buick something or other, right?
Oh, no. That's the best part. I love the very beginning of the movie, like the school scene where he's got like his Monte Carlo.
Oh, that's what it is.
And then he pops the hood. Literal NASCAR engine.
What is that? He's supposed to be
literal,
broke.
Like, this broke high school student has put a NASCAR engine and racing slicks.
Yeah.
On his Monte Carlo.
I don't understand. And then
like, that engine probably cost near as much as the Viper that he raced.
Yeah, sorry, I just found the thing. It is a Dori Fotogal. So yeah, it's like And then
Yes.
bam, a boy. Like, fuck you, man. And yeah, like, oh yeah, and then the fucking Viper, like, oh, you read the brochure. Bro, you read the brochure. Everybody's read the brochure. You know how many times both of us have like looked at the fucking Viper specs and been like, oh yeah, like of course you did.
What about Daddy's Viper?
Yeah, what about Daddy's Viper? You broke fucking like nearly homeless fucking single mom. Like nothing against single moms, but goddamn, man,
With the NASCAR engine.
with your NASCAR engine, where did you steal that from? You felon. Get shipped off to Japan. You know how I would kill so many fucking people in a street race to get shipped off to
How
Japan.
many speeding tickets do I need to get before they ship me off to Japan?
This was your last chance. Come on, Nick, this was your last chance.
You're gonna have to go live with your dad in Japan.
Yeah, heaven forbid. Where he's banging prostitutes and shit. Which is another fucking thing. You walk in on your, like, you're so invested in your son, but but you're not. Like, okay, that's reasonable writing, actually, to be honest with you. It's not the worst thing. But, like, I don't know,
I
man.
think he did fine as, like, the jaded grifter dad.
No, he's fine. He's fine. And it's written fine. But to be honest with you, none of that makes sense. Because, like, at the end, when, like, now we're just, like, bragging on fucking the Fast and the Furious, which is fine. We'll have to cut it off at a certain point. But, like, so the whole movie, he's trying to keep him away, and then the second that someone pulls a gun on his son, now he's like, you're right, you do have to fix this. Why? There's no reason. This is the whole movie. You've been unjustified. Right now, you're so justified. It's crazy.
Yeah, like, she was literally about to send him home after his first night at the parking lot street races. He's like, you're fucking going home and going to jail.
Yeah.
But after his friend gets murdered in a traffic accident and he gets followed home by a Yakuza junior
Baby Yakuza,
boss
yeah,
or
whatever.
some shit, baby Yakuza, and has a gun put to his head, suddenly it's like, oh yeah, you know what? Maybe you should stick around and fix your problems.
Now you're a man. You need to fix what you started. Dude, fuck you. Fuck you. That's terrible fucking writing. I think that the actor for the dad was fine.
You know what part I always like? I honestly sometimes stop the movie at this part because it's like I don't want to watch past it. It's when he goes into the fucking Yakuza club with the bag of money and he's like, you know how we're going to settle this problem? We're going to race.
Oh my God. Dude,
it's like, I honestly can't sit through that sometimes because it's so fucking dumb.
It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. And you know what is infuriating? Not for nothing, but the girl, like the main girl, being there after all the horrible shit Baby Yakuza said to her, like she's already lost the guy in her head, right? Like he's fucking gone, right? He's going back to America or whatever the fuck. And now you're still hanging out with Baby Yakuza who's like, you're gonna be a prostitute like your mom, and you're like, yeah, we will go to the club. What do you mean? Have some self-respect, man.
Like so many
It doesn't.
I really, because like what Yakuza boss is gonna be like, yeah, you know what, you're right, yeah, let's settle this with a race.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, nephew, go race this man.
This is
and our four-fingered friend who had to chop off a finger because he made a mistake. He's gonna be the starting line.
It doesn't. Okay, can I just say as well, like, that
the Yakuza is just gonna kill him and take the bag of money.
No, even then, this is the same guy. This is not even like they've written the Yakuza badly because they don't understand. This is the same guy who quotes that Japanese proverb about, like, for lack of a horseshoe, like so like to say that every little thing matters. The war was lost. To say that every little thing matters, except now you're letting your dipshit nephew like lose a street race and the guy still walks away. Like,
yeah, and then at the end, the Yakuza uncle, he's like happy about it.
Yeah, he's
smiling.
He's overjoyed.
He's like, fuck yeah, he lost. We're not going to get that money. Good job, boy from
they
America.
Keep the money, but
boy.
I think he just wants to settle the feud. But like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Also, okay, little thing for me. There's no earthly plane. I will lay down my life if I could ever see a basically what, an SR20 dropped into a fucking 60, what is it, like a really,
An RB26.
oh, it was sorry, you're right, it was an RB26.
It was a GTR motor.
It was a GTR motor dropped into a fucking old Mustang chassis, and it do anything but fall off the cliff. There's no, that is older than the dad. Like it is an ancient fucking thing welded together.
Yeah, 'cause, like, my favorite part about it is like they're doing this build scene and they're building the Mustang, and it's like the entire time in my head, it's like this thing has rear leaf springs and drum brakes.
Yes.
Like you can put as much power and coilovers and stuff as you want in the front, but I don't think anybody in 2005 Japan is going to have readily available access to a rear independent suspension swap for a 67 Mustang fastback,
overnight
so that they can
parts
build
to
it in
Japan.
a week to settle the Yakuza feud in the race.
It doesn't make sense. It literally makes more sense to go and take a loan and just buy something else. It doesn't.
It literally would have made more sense for them to take the Silvia that had the GTR engine in it already and fix it,
or buy, or better yet, buy like a shell of another Silvia from like a junkyard and be like,
that's another thing I never really got about that movie. It's like, so he does the first race in the Silvia, the Mona Lisa, and like he fucks it up, but at the end of the race, like it's still running and driving, and it's just kind of fucked. Like it needs some body work.
It needs a lot.
Probably
of body
needs
work.
some wheels and some suspension parts are a little bit bent, but it's, you know, like one solid weekend of work, you can probably have that back looking pretty fresh.
Mm-hmm.
When they went to the Silvia to get the engine out of it to put in the Mustang, it was like they'd left it on the reserve for a week. There was like no Silvia left to be seen of it.
I just want to look,
and I don't understand how that happened. Because Japanese people are very polite. They're not just going to start stealing shit off your Silvia.
No, it would be very, very unlikely that any of that would happen. Yeah, it does. It genuinely does. They've like pulled the wheels off it. They've like fucking, even the indicator is not on it, or the side marker. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Everything is just gone. But at the end of the race, it was still a driving, and it's not like they had multiple Silvias.
No, that's the one.
So, like, what? Those parts aren't just gonna fit on other cars.
No,
like the wheels maybe, but they were fucked.
Yeah, no, the wheels would need to be replaced. That's the thing I don't get. Like, I don't get it. And like, okay,
and then they open the hood, and it's like this pristine, perfect RB26, like untouched.
Not a speck of fucking dust on it. Not a speck of fucking dust. Makes no fucking sense. Like, we're genuinely gonna have to cut it off at this movie because I can't. This with this stupid idiot. Like, also, okay, if we're gonna, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna keep nitpicking. You know what's like unbelievably infuriating is that like look, I like Han. We all like Han. Okay, I will never do a thing to besmirch.
Stay dead.
Okay, let's just not get shot. I let's not get run up on at a Toronto car meet in the future.
Hey, go ahead.
Okay, if we are talking about like when they bring him back way late, what is it, like 8 or 9? 9. It was 9. When they're like, here's Han. I agree with you. Now, that being said, I do like that they pulled it back in time to have that character continue to exist. I think that's reasonable. But, this is a huge but, he makes no fucking sense in Tokyo Drift. So he hands the keys of one of his prized vehicles to a stranger, a white boy from Alabama, right? He destroys that car, and now obviously he owes Han a lot of money, right? to his credit, this idiot character they've written, this main character, he goes, because it's a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, it is a lot of money, Han. And we know Han's loaded, but he's like, one car to see what a man's made of? What are you talking about? He just fucked up your car.
Can you just like take him to dinner or something?
Can you be normal? And how many fucking kids out there are like fantasizing about some dude like taking them under their wing now and letting them fucking drive their fucking whatever? There's one video I think about a lot. It's from like a really small YouTuber with like 500 or 1,000 subs, I think. If this is a big YouTuber, I'm gonna get really embarrassed. But where like he had just rebuilt his S2000 and a kid begs him to drive it, and the kid has never.
I've seen that.
Okay, and the kid's never driven stick before. Yeah, and then he crashes it immediately. And I'm like, that's a real life thing of what would happen. That kid.
Yeah. Now imagine after the end of that video, he was like, "Don't worry about it, kid. I know you're got some good in you there.
It doesn't make.
Don't leave town. We're gonna fix this."
And if you want to fucking comment and quote and say, well, you know, it's the Japanese. Han's not fucking Japanese. So fuck you.
He's not. In fact, canonically, he's Korean.
Yes.
In that universe as well.
Yeah. So
because of all the other movies that like tie into, I forget what movie he played in before Fast and Furious that they like made part of the universe.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. Yeah, there is another movie out there that where Han is like his origin story as like a criminal. But
I do genuinely believe that his character should have remained dead. Like they should not have brought him back in number 9. They did that twice. Like I don't think they should have brought back Michelle Rodriguez's character either, Letty.
Like, they literally killed her off so she could go film a shitty Riddick movie or whatever the fuck it was that she filmed. That's literally why they. Oh no, or was it for Lost? Because she was in Lost, if you remember that show.
I don't know why she left or why they wrote her out.
She was filming something else. That's the only reason that they killed her off. That's where that came from.
Vin Diesel wasn't in Too Fast, Too Furious because he was doing Riddick.
Oh, sorry, that's what I was thinking of. Yes, she was filming something. She was filming something else. And no, I thought he was not in Too Fast, Too Furious because they were like, fuck it, we don't need him. There's a whole lot.
No, I think he was filming Riddick, and I think he wanted a little too much money.
Right, I think that probably tracks. Yeah,
it's probably one of those things. But yeah, like it was something like that for the. But yeah, I don't know about Letty and why she got written out.
I know she was filming,
but
something.
I honestly think they should have just stayed written out. Like I appreciate the Han backstory. Like he was great in like 5, 6, 7, and
I think it was
8,
like 4. It was 4, 5. Was it 4? Yeah, it was 4. He was only in the beginning of 4, and then
a little bit of 4.
Yeah, 5, 6.
Like I appreciate that. That's fine. He can have that. But
I think he's a strong character, and people really like him.
They're just bringing people back to cash in on it at this point.
No.
It's like,
yeah,
it's like if in the next Fast and Furious they were like, oh, Paul Walker showed up again. It's coming out of retirement, and it's just CGI Paul Walker.
They would do it. No. They would fucking do it.
They would, but it's like, can you fucking not?
First of all, that's in really poor taste. I respect them finishing the movie like 7 with his brother. I think that's in good taste. I think the second, I respect them mentioning it in the universe and being like, we can't call Brian, right? You're like, that's right, Paul Walker did die.
Like
You're
I respect
like
letting him just sort of like, he's alive in the universe, but he's not coming back.
He's a family man now, yeah.
But I wouldn't put it past them to make more money on the next movie to be like, hop, here he is.
Yeah, here he is. There's Paul. You guys love him. That's Brian. Like, yeah. I will say, okay, let's do this, and I could shit on. We you know what? We should. Let's do this. Let's cut it off here because I'm happy to shit on the rest of the movies, but it's gonna run really long. But one thing I would like to say, right? How do you feel about the like when Paul Walker died, right? Because in my mind, that was like your entrance into that universe was like, this is the no-name actor at the time, right? This is who you identify with. He's coming into this existing crew of characters, this existing universe, right? This is your way in. So for a lot of people, that was like their persona mentally in that world. When he died, which is very tragic, probably because of old tires, but whatever. A lot of people, and I see it to this day, got the like "For Paul" stickers on their like Jettas, and it always kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I agree. Like I think a lot of people got into this because of those movies and because of him, right? But
Yes.
it does it. Is there a point? I'm gonna get killed for this. Is there a point where it becomes fucking cringe? Because
Yeah, like you know what, like what happened? Like I was a Paul fan.
yeah, of course,
I liked Paul Walker. I from all accounts that I've heard, he was apparently very nice and very generous and some weird relationship stuff, but you know, whatever, that's Hollywood. Everybody in Hollywood's kind of fucking weird like that.
sure,
So, you know, if other people can do it, I'm not going to crucify him for it. Um and like I think like the time immediately surrounding when it happened, like, you know, doing the whole like, you know, vigils and all that stuff, that's fine.
yeah,
That's fine because to a lot of people in the community, like, you know, the Fast and the Furious was a lot of their, you know, introduction or a big part of why they like cars. So that's fine. After that first sort of, I don't know, maybe few weeks period, it's like you didn't know the guy. You don't need the for Paul sticker.
yeah,
You know, like I say that as someone like, you know, I have an I like the tuna here t-shirt. I never wear it. I bought it because the place that was selling it was donating the proceeds to his charity at the time after he died. So I was like,
sure,
fine, that's my contribution to it all. I wore the shirt like once,
sure.
and it was like a week after it happened, and I've never touched it since.
Fair enough.
That's how I feel about like the for Paul stickers and all that, or like the outline of the car with like 1973 to
Yes.
2013 on it or whatever.
Yeah. Usually it's
It's
both. I
just
find.
yeah, like it's not necessary
No.
anymore.
No. It's not even that it's not necessary. Like I would go further and just be like, you know what? They've moved past it. You know.
Yeah, like it's just like you're making it's beyond it takes it beyond like Paul Walker and the Fast and the Furious being a part of why you like cars, and now it's becoming a little bit too much. This is my personality.
Yeah. I like. I always find that it's on like it's not even really cars that are like low. It's kind of one thing if you're thinking I just like putting stickers on my car. Like, not that I agree with it, but like you know, but it's like it's always just like the only sticker on the car, and like that's their whole thing.
Yeah,
You know, and
it's always like a back window sticker.
yeah, always. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna get crucified for this, but like that's fine. Look, if you uh, if you feel like that mattered a lot to you, and that it mattered to us too. To be clear, we're not heartless, but like
Yeah,
at some point,
it's
it's
just
like
like
let it lie. You know?
yeah, like we're what, like 12 years on at this point,
Yeah.
and like, you know, as much as you saw him and his character on screen, like at the end of the day, you didn't really know the guy.
No, and I don't know. It's hard to.
You know, it's like it feels like you're just trying to cash in on it
Yeah.
after a certain point.
Well, yeah.
Like you're
It's
trying to gain something from it.
yeah, but like, what do you what like? I cared more. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like I don't like stickers
Yeah, I
on
don't know.
cars in general, but
It's like what, yeah, like it feels like you're trying to gain from it, but like I don't know what. Is it like, are you wanting people to walk up and be like, I was a Paul fan too. I liked him more than like
yeah, like we all are. We all are and were.
like I don't know, I'm very much like be sad in silence.
Yeah, I'm fully with you.
Like, you know,
I don't.
you can be sad on your own, and like that's, if you want to deal with, like, you deal with it that way yourself.
You know what it feels like a little bit is like people criticize this. So it's kind of like the like a 12-year like well I guess 12 years ago, but like it's kind of like how people will record themselves crying on Instagram or TikTok or something. That's kind of
Yeah,
what it feels like at this point in time.
yeah. Like I don't know. Like I don't really know with like with celebrity deaths. It's kind of weird. Like Paul Walker is probably the one that like I'd say saddened me the most because of how much I enjoyed the Fast and the Furious and what that
Yeah.
played in my life, but I was never like distraught
No.
over it.
I mean, it
Like
was.
I was far more emotional watching the end of the Grand Tour than I was when he died.
I think. Okay, but can I add just to?
And I mean that in a bad way. I mean it in like it you know like it happened. It was horrible. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But it was just sort of like I paid my respects and made peace with it fairly quickly.
Well, I think like also like I also feel similarly, but I will say that like, and you probably agree, it's like when you actually saw the ending of Fast and Furious 7 like for the first time, I think probably that's when for a lot of people it kind of kicked them in the dick, so to
Yeah, like
speak.
that was an emotional moment.
Yeah, that was really something.
Because then it was like, like Paul is gone, but like now like that's it. That's the end of the character.
Yeah, like
So that
it's
was the end of that chapter of however many people's lives who cared
well, yeah, I mean like
or
it's,
like
people will like people love like, whatever, like one big one that I can think off the top of my head is like Tupac, right? Like a lot of music
yeah.
released after death, right? And
Yeah.
for a lot of people at that moment, like when like this is the last time you're ever going to see him on screen type thing, that's when that door actually probably closed for, like, that's what it was for me. Like it was a very emotional thing, you know. And it's
Yeah, because it's like this is the like he's never going to be in another movie. There's
no more, that's it.
just memory at this point and what's
Yeah,
already been made. So yeah, that like I agree with that.
yeah, I think it's just like it's a weird thing to dwell on. Like I like I don't know, like I wouldn't put a sticker on my car of many things, and it's just like a very, I don't know, it sounds callous, I'm not gonna lie, like thinking about what I'm saying right now I feel callous, but
Yeah, like to me it's like I put it on the same level as like having like a rest in peace like Michael Jackson or something. Like a lot
yeah,
of people loved his music, but after the initial period after he passed, it's like it would just feel kind of weird.
yeah, it's just, yeah, and I say this again, we're saying this 12 years on from the event, we're not saying this
Yeah.
like 6 months after, we're not that cold, we're saying like
Yeah, and
there
it's like
is,
it's not like I'm sitting here like, like fucking Ludacris and Tyrese get over your friend's death. Like absolutely
no,
not, but
no.
it hit them very differently than it hit somebody who's only really seen him in the roles he was playing.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean is like, I don't think
So you have
any,
to take it in context.
no, of course. I don't think that
Yeah.
that's what we're saying at all. If for some reason you personally knew somebody, like obviously be upset for as many years as you like. But like, it's just a weird thing. Like, I just think it's more we're commenting on the obsession with like fame. Like you know what made even less sense to me. I'm gonna get killed for this, and then we'll wrap after they crucify me out in the yard. Um, like I was sad when Ken Block died. I was very sad. Um,
Hmm.
but there is a lot to unpack there, a lot of like weirdness around that brand and a lot of stuff like, and everybody kind of just like, they have some, I've seen Ken Block stickers on cars and stuff, and I'm like, this guy just did stunts, like that was mostly his thing. Like it's not like you could identify with his character the way that like Paul Walker portrayed, like, Brian. So that,
Yeah.
like, it's newer. So obviously I'm never going to give someone shit for it. But like, I wonder how long you'll see stuff like that too. You know, they're going to
Yeah.
kill
Well,
me.
like that one's a weird one because like Hoonigan literally just declared bankruptcy not too long
Yeah.
ago. So like I feel like that one's gonna fade away a fair bit quicker
Mm.
because a lot of the brand literally was like Ken driving the brand.
Yeah.
And once he was gone, there's not really much left to keep Hoonigan going. And I don't think his like I don't think his daughters expressed any interest in continuing with that.
No, I don't think so.
Like she does and has her own stuff, and from everything I've seen, is a very talented driver herself. But like I don't think there's going to be a lot of Hoonigan and Ken Block, like the K Block and his number stickers
Yeah.
for much longer. I feel like the Paul Walker one it's stuck around longer and had an effect on more people because it was around longer, but also that whole franchise is backed by Universal, and they just kept pumping out movies and reminding you here and there that he exists in that universe after he died.
Yeah.
Because literally every movie after 7, there's some mention of Paul.
Yeah, there's some like, we should call Brian. No, we can't call Brian.
Yeah, there's like, no, we can't call Brian. And then there's like,
Brian
oh,
do?
look, the kid is named Pablo. And then at the end of like Fast and Furious 8 or 9, they're like, oh, look, it's Brian pulling up to the barbecue in the skyline.
Yeah. And that stuff, like, this is the thing. That doesn't bother me too much, but like, I don't know. It's, yeah, I can see what you mean. Like, it keeps it alive.
That's what it is. It's like, it like proliferates it.
Yeah. It gives you that little like, like, like that little like, yeah, he's still like, there's that little piece of it. Like, even if it is a multi-billion-dollar like media shit, nobody actually gives a shit. Let's be honest. Production-wise, I'm not saying people. I'm sure people care. Okay, so let's cut it off. But next time, I do want to hit 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we could probably go till like right at the end with where we lose Brian in the story, and we'll have to split it into multiple parts. But I really enjoyed that. We weren't expecting to just go in on those fucking movies, but we like those movies. Like, so that we're clear, we do like those movies.
We love the Fast and Furious franchise.
We adore Fast and the Furious.
We're realistic and honest about it.
They're not good movies. They're good movies, but they're like bad movies.
They're fun movies, but they're not good movies.
Yeah, that's good. They're fun movies, but they're not good. And they are like required reading, as we all agree. But
and they get like progressively worse after Fast and Furious 3. Like it really starts going off the rails very quickly. We still love them, but very, very sharp change in how believable and realistic things are.
I cannot wait to get into what a friend of mine calls the Diesel dimension, when he just has psychic visions, because that is my favorite thing. Anyway, we will get to that.
We'll touch on that next
we need
time.
to stop. We'll touch on that next week. If you haven't already, please take a look at our Instagram. We'll get around to posting more stuff. We're a little busy right now. And look out for next week when we're definitely keeping this going. I'm so glad we started talking about this. We're gonna call this one like the flop in the. What are we gonna call it? We'll figure it out after. But we're gonna
have to figure that one. Next week we can call it the Diesel dimension.
Oh my god, I'm absolutely calling it the Diesel dimension. All right, thank you so much for listening, guys. And if you like what you heard, remember, subscribe or follow on Spotify or whatever the fuck you want to do. We will catch you next week.